Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Burrell Football. This is Mike Pavlik. Mike Choma will be along later, and we'll preview this week's game against the Amani Christian Saints. Well, the Bucks come in at 3-5, in fourth place by themselves in the Allegheny 7 Conference and squarely on the playoff bubble. They lost to Highlands Friday night, 42-21. They trailed 21-7 late second quarter, but made a mad rush in the last 3 minutes and 13 seconds of the first half. There was a Antonio Perkins to Zach Kudre 41-yard touchdown pass that got them to within one score. Then a Baroni strip, a Heekins recovery put the Bucks in business late in the quarter. Perkins, with 9 seconds left, scored a touchdown, his second of the game actually. And it was 21-21, and things were looking good at the break. But I think halftime might have come just in the nick of time for the Highlands Golden Rams. They got their heads together, they came out, and they dominated the second half, scoring 3 times, and it was a big night for Tevin Owen Kratzenberg. 17 carries, 321 yards, and 4 touchdowns. This guy gained over 200 yards on just his touchdowns alone. So Highlands will be going to the playoffs again. The Bucks still got a fight to get in. They have 2 conference games left, this one against Amani, and then the final game at home on senior night against Deer Lakes. When we come back, the Dean Mike Choma will join us, and he'll talk to Rocco, Giannetti, and Nisaun Jones. We'll have those guys for you right after this.
On this edition of Inside Burrell Bucks, we'll bring some of the younger players on, see what they're all about this year. It's been a great year so far for the young guys. First off, we have Nisaun Jones. Nisaun, outstanding player. You're a plug-and-play guy, and again, the coaches tell me it's support we try to get you on the field, but you play a lot of different positions. What do you play so far this year?
Outside linebacker, middle linebacker, H-back. That's it for real.
And on offense now that you have that position, H-back, what do you do with H-back?
I'm basically just like blocking out, blocking in.
Do you go out and ever receive the ball?
There's some plays where I would like receive the ball, but that's it.
Now, as far as middle linebacker, outside linebacker, what's the difference in those two positions?
Outside linebacker, you mainly just gotta like contain the outside. Inside linebacker, you're just filling gaps for real. That's it. Now,
as far as offense or defense, I would like to ask the guys when I play both ways. Do you have a preference, offense or defense?
I prefer defense. I like hitting.
You want to be the hammer, not the nail, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you're a young sophomore, and you know a lot of our middle school players. Middle school is having a great year this year, 6-2 so far. Who are some of those middle school players going to help us in the future?
Frank Girardi, Miles Taylor, Xander Kemp. Then they got some good linemen, Giannetti.
I know the one big kid is Taylor's, right? The Taylor brothers?
Yeah, him. He's going to be a good player.
So, again, future looks bright as far as that goes. Now, as far as playing other sports, you say you devote yourself to football. What's the offseason going to be like for you?
Really like 7-on-7, track season, lifting weights, just getting bigger in the gym.
Now, you say bigger. Does that also mean putting some weight on?
Yeah, putting on a lot of muscle.
Muscle, weight together, hopefully it's going to translate. Now, tough assignment Friday night, Amani Christian. You're going down there to Wilkinsburg. How are you preparing for that this week?
Just taking it week by week, play by play, just playing football.
Okay, that's going to take this Friday night. Play it the best you can. Thanks for stopping by. Future looks bright with a guy like you, Nisaun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're joined by another sophomore, Rocco Giannetti. And Rocco, you started the season injured. What happened?
First day of camp, we were in practice. We were doing gator rolls, which we never practiced before. And I went to roll, and I just hit the back of my head off the turf, basically, and just got concussed there.
Now, there's a rule, especially in camp. You can't make the club in the tub. And being injured, you had to wait your turn. What was the process like to get you back into the starting lineup?
Really just putting the work in the gym, like going to the field, running sprints during practice when my team's practicing. Just running a lot, trying to get in shape for when I get back.
Now, you mentioned concussion. Did you have to go through the concussion protocols? What was that?
Yeah. So I had to go to UPMC, Dr. Collins, and he had to put me through a few tests and get me all cleared up.
Great. Now, as far as positions you play, you're another guy, plug and play. Any place you can help, you've jumped in there. What have you played so far?
I played slot wide receiver at F and then cornerback on defense.
And again, do you have a preference, offense or defense?
I also like defense. I feel on defense you're more able to play football, go around, hit people. Offense is more like mental plays, all that.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about assignments. Just
Yeah.
go get them. And you, speaking of going and getting them, East Allegheny game, you have great speed. You ran down one of their players going up for a touchdown. We went 29-28. That I thought was the play of the game. I understand you also are involved with track. What do you do with track?
I run the 100-meter. I'm on the 4x1 team, and I also throw discus. And here and there, I'll run the 400-meter. But those are my main events.
And again, we can see the speed on the field. Now, you've caught 5 passes so far this year. We call them pop passes. Can you explain to everybody out there what a pop pass is and what do you do?
A pop pass is basically a jet sweep. The main goal of it is basically to get to the perimeter, get to the outside, go around the guys, and just it's not really much of a touchdown play. It's just to get up there 5-6 yards, get what you can.
And try to use your speed. And again, by throwing the ball forward, it can never be a fumble because it only can be an incomplete pass.
Correct.
We're going to need some of those pop passes Friday night. Can we get some?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for stopping by. Monty Christian Friday night. Go get them.
Yes,
Good job, Rocco.
Thank you.
Joined by Coach Girardi for our weekly chat. Coach, last week, great game, first half against Highlands, 21-21. What happened in the second half?
Well, I mean, the first half, we were able to overcome, getting behind the sticks a couple times, make a few big plays, get a few stops. Second half, really, it's not that we didn't play well, we just weren't able to overcome some of those same things. So, very similar, but, you just didn't get the plays, didn't get the sticks moving. Unfortunately, still gave up a couple big plays to them in the second half, which we did the first. But, they're an explosive team, and, we're not looking to play just halves of football. But, was proud with how the boys, came out and played hard.
Now, how much do you talk about it this week, what happened last week?
Every week you're always looking for a few things to point out to make sure, individually, we watch film, so we're pointing out things individually that the players, want to do, either do better or continue to keep doing well. And then as the team, usually pick a message or two. You don't want to have too many. So each week, because it is a building process, we try to find out, what's the biggest takeaway from last week, and that will apply to this week. And so, that's what you do week to week.
And I thought we had some positive to build off. We only had 2 penalties for 20 yards. Had 2 rushers over 150 yards. Is that something we build off of?
Absolutely. I mean, we've been, getting better. To go from the number of penalties we had 2 weeks ago to last week was a definite big improvement. And, anytime we can get, I call it the two-headed monster, anytime we get Trey and Tone going, that's hard on defenses. It really is. It's like you're running 2 back out of 1 back.
Exactly.
So, no, we'll keep building.
And we always talk about it's not the destination, it's the journey. Where do we stand with 2 weeks ago?
Well, we're continuing to come together. They're playing hard. We're at the point in practices, which is nice, where you're, running the play once and then you're moving on to the next play because you executed it the right way. So I feel like we're getting more things done in practice, and we're trying to continue to evolve. It's hard to put everything in 1 year. It really is. But we're continuing to add some things. We're continuing to build both offensively and defensively, and that's a credit to the kids. They're being coachable. I can speak for the entire staff. I enjoy coming every single day, working with them. They got great attitudes. They're good kids. So we have a lot of fun, and we're continuing to get better.
That's the word a lot of schools miss, fun. You're supposed to be here to play, and I think that's important. How about Friday night? What kind of fun are we going to have at Monty Christian at Graham Field?
It'll be interesting. They're obviously a really, really good team. But I told the kids this week, it's not like we haven't played some really, really good teams already. They're number 2. Avonworth was number 1. And if you talk about, playing a game and for certain parts of time, that Avonworth game, I think we came out and surprised some people for the first quarter and a half or so, and there were a couple balls that could have bounced another way that, would have made the game a little bit closer. Do we beat an Avonworth week 0, the first game that we have everybody together and they're who they are, we know that that's a long shot. But for us to come out that game and for a little bit there be competitive, show some good things against a really, really good team, hopefully we've grown since then. Amani's a different animal. They're as good as Avonworth is. They're probably even more athletic. So, we'll have our hands full with that. But, we want to go out. I want to see the kids fight. I want to see them play hard. I don't want to see them back down. I know I can count on them to do that. So we'll see where it takes us.
We're going to be facing 5 D1 players, and we know, we look into the future, Deer Lake's 2 weeks from now, senior night, going to be a very important game. We know how important that is to even be considered for the playoffs. Sure. How are you keeping the kids focused on this week? Because a lot of people are looking ahead.
I think a lot of people are looking ahead, but I think the players aren't, the coaches aren't. That's the good thing about a season. You get into that grind and you get into the rhythm. You do the same thing Monday and you do the same thing Tuesday, and you go through the week and you're focused intently on who you're playing. So we really haven't even muttered the words Deer Lakes up here with the kids or on the field or anything. We're focused solely on Amani right now. That's who we have. They're a great team. That's where our concentration needs to be. And then Saturday is always that day, to me, where you kind of wrap up what you just did, you watch film with the kids, and then you move on. And I'll actually talk to the kids about the next team that we play when film's over and get that message going for the week. So that to me is the transition point.
Friday night, Graham Field, Wilkinsburg against Amani Christian. How about you go out and shock the WPIL?
There you go. We'll go for it. Go Bucks.
Welcome back to Inside Burrell Football, presented by the Boucher Agency. And the Boucher name has been synonymous with serving the people of the AK Valley for over 70 years. They're uniquely qualified to help you choose home and auto insurance that protects what matters most, your family. The Bouchers are independent agents. That gives them the flexibility to work with all the leading companies in the industry to find new ways to save on home and auto insurance for you and your family. Call your hometown independent agents today, John and Nick Boucher, 724-224-4300, and choose the coverage that's right for your family. And as always, their Natrona Heights office is open Saturdays for your convenience. Remember, in the AK Valley, you're in good hands with the Boucher Agency on your side. And of course, we come to this time every week. It's time for the trivia question, and here we go. What 2 players share the Burrell record for most touchdowns scored in a game? There are 2 of them, and we'll give you that after the third quarter on Friday night at Amani Christian. Game, of course, will be on right here on YouTube at 6:50. When we come back, we'll preview those tough Amani Christian Saints, and we'll do that right after this. Welcome back to Inside Burrell Football, presented by the Boucher Agency. And as we mentioned, the Burrell Bucks on the road at UPMC Graham Field against the Amani Christian Saints. They are 8-0. They are ranked number 2, as Coach Girardi just mentioned, to Avonworth, who is number 1. Funny, we get to play them both. Average score, 46-6 so far this year. They have won 23 consecutive regular season games. They had 4 straight losing seasons from 2019 to 2022, but then Coach Leroy Johnson ended up on the scene in his 4th year, 4-6 his first year, but 27-4 since. They've made 3 straight playoffs. They made it to the semifinals a year ago and lost to the defending champion, the aforementioned Avonworth, 14-6. In 4 years at Stowe Rocks, Coach Johnson won 80% of his games and made the WPIAL finals twice, and he is chasing that elusive WPIAL championship. Last week they won at Deer Lakes 56-14. They led 42-0 at halftime. Gabe Jenkins, now the quarterback, threw 5 touchdown passes. He went for over 200 on the ground against Burrell as a running back a year ago. Again, airtime 6:50 tomorrow night, right here on YouTube. We hope you'll join us for that. We want to thank Nisaun Jones and Rocco Giannetti for joining us, and of course Coach Dom Girardi for his input in teeing up the game, as it will, against Amani this week. And of course, always, we thank the Dean, Mike Choma. So until we join you next week for another edition of Inside Burrell Football, this is Mike Pavlik saying thanks for watching, and until next time, so long, everybody.